breathing. That's scary. Sorry, hang on. Right, hello. Sorry, I had the microphone on for my starting soon screen, which is bad because it was just me doing my sort of slightly poorly heavy Darth Vader breathing. Can you hear me all right now? Anyone? Please confirm or deny that I am alive and kicking. Can I be heard? Yes. Okay, cool, thanks. Right, hello. This is an iPad. I've found some sort of fancy software to put my iPad screen on the screen. Because this is how I do animation. So we've got this kind of fancy live thing. Hang on one sec. I think my cat wants to come into the shed. Hang on. Coming in. Come on. You coming in? He's taking his time. Hurry up. You coming in or not? Come on. No, fine. Sorry, I thought my cat wanted to come in, but it turns out that's a lie. So, he's just being an idiot. So yeah, what we've got here is the character currently known as Bob, although I don't think that's going to stay. What we're going to have is he is going to be called Ray Tracing, purely so I can make a joke about the game having ray tracing. But anyway, he is he kind of represents a blockage in the game, in as much as he stood in front of an elevator that you need to use, and you need to give him through a convoluted series of puzzles, you need to give him a work order that says he can go home, basically, or that what he's doing doesn't need to be done anymore. And that kind of is the final bit of Act 1 of the game, is to open up this second elevator to the rest of the building. So what I'm going to do today is I have a version of him here where I just want to animate him kind of grabbing the work order. So the player character will just stick his hand out. He won't have anything in it, and then he will this guy will reach out and a piece of paper will like materialize in his hand, and then he's going to look at it, sort of cock an eyebrow maybe, and then put it in his pocket. And then after that, at some point I'll have to do him going fully upright, because he's kind of leaning at the moment, and then walking off. But that is very much a problem for a future me. So we're in Procreate on the iPad, and as you can see, I've got him built out as a group of layers, where actually that doesn't need to be there, that can be there. So in fact, why is it two groups? Man, I love and hate groups, don't I? What have I just done? Come on, I just want you to be your own thing. Okay, cool. Let's delete this one. Yeah, sorry. So his hat, his head, his body, his arms are separate things. Although his front-facing arm isn't in this one, because that won't need to move. Alright, so what I'm going to do, the way I sort of have been doing this for all the animations in the game so far, is to let's duplicate that and then start by like the furthest point of extension. So if he's reaching out, I will make it so that he has fully reached out, and then I will kind of do all the bits in between, because then I know sort of where the max furthest away point is. And I did that for all the walking animations as well. So if you imagine like you go from that to that as your fully extended point, I then do the bits in between. Anyway, I think I'm just waffling because I'm scared to actually make progress on this. But let's start, shall we? So if we say that what he's going to do is get to some. Oh, he's pointing because when he's in my talking animation, he does a little point every now and again. But it won't be a point. He wants to, in this instance, kind of be holding a piece of paper. So what does that look like from the front? Let's get rid of some of this. I do this a lot. I just sort of, if I've got like a a hand position, I just sort of look at it myself and figure out what that needs to look like. And then if I'm holding a piece of paper, like so, what does that look like in the camera? God, what does that look like in the camera? Thumb up over the top. And then the fingers wrap round underneath. This is going to be a very like trial and error thing, I think, to get this right. By the way, I'm hoping that the lag isn't too bad, because obviously I'm sort of Bluetooth streaming my iPad to the Mac and streaming myself at the same time. So I kind of hope that this isn't, that it's watchable in some capacity. Man, hands are just the hardest thing in the world to draw. Where would the paper even be? Oh God, what would it even look like? Let me do this again in front of the camera. Hang on. If it's this hand for me. So the paper is almost flat. The thumb goes over the top, and the fingers are kind of staggered. So the paper needs to be very like that almost, isn't it? Thumb over the top, that's sort of okay for now. And then I don't know. God, this is hard. What a terrible start already. How do you draw hands? Maybe that will just, like, something like that will just do. Actually, do you know what? Maybe I forget all of this for now. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll do like a rolled up one. Is that how hands work? God, I've completely lost my mind about how hands even look and function. Jeremy says sketch it out. I am sketching it out. I'm just using a pen. It's all erasable. Don't worry about it. Oh, I know what I've done wrong. Everything. Hang on, I've figured it out. Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's like that, sort of, more or less. You're getting a great insight into how kind of slapdash everything is, though, when I do it. There's a lot of kind of that will do-ness about my my artistic approach. Especially as a lot of these things, you only see them in a flash. So I kind of think it doesn't really matter that much. And you could argue the scale is a bit weird with his the size of his hand. But to a point, I don't care. Yeah. Well, Jeremy, it is funny watching a man fail. I understand that. There's a lot of schadenfreude to be had in just watching someone not know how to draw. Let me... I'm just gonna maybe shrink that a bit. And you can see why things take me a long time is because I have no kind of efficiency about what I'm doing. However, if I can get to a point where there's something done, then I can finesse down the line, It's funny to hear the live commentary. Yeah, the live commentary is literally just always, as always on these streams, very much the sound of a man having a mental breakdown in real time. This paper isn't that dark, is it? Come on. It's hard making games and retaining sanity. What I need to do, little artifacts everywhere. What I need to do is get rid of this white background, because what I'll accidentally do is sort of make the whole background white without realising that's just the background. Yes, in the chat. Yeah, the mentor is Jeremy. Jeremy is here watching me now. He's my spirit guide in the world of game dev. Right. So, I mean, I've done what I've done is just created a massive problem for myself thinking about it, because I was going to have him grab the thing and then read the thing and then put it in his pocket, but the journey from him having it in his fist to actually being able to read that is a bigger challenge than I had in the first place, because of what have I done is, how am I going to animate him unrolling it? Which says, in the spirit of decisions in game dev made out of necessity, what I might do is just have him not do that at all. I might have him just reach out, grab it, stuff it in his pocket, and then in a surly kind of way say, do you know what, I'll take your word for it that that's what it says. And that'll be that. Maybe is that really lazy? Literally just because I've drawn the arm the wrong way. I don't know. I'll come back to that in a sec. Let me just reposition it so he's looking down. No, not quite. I love how easy it is to just undo stuff on Procreate. It does make things quite quick. Right. Look at that. This is some Pixar level stuff going on here. Yeah, I think it's lazy. But I might have him just grab it, shove it in his pocket and go, whatever, I'm not even going to read it. I believe you. Because he's a lazy character as well. I just want this frame to kind of have his eyebrow arched a bit. And then I can go back and do the in-betweens. The tweens, as they're called. So in actual fact, I think what I want him to do is look down first, then reach out his arm. Yeah, so like look down, raise an eyebrow, reach out, and then pull back. So, okay, so if I say that's the most extended point, I'm going to duplicate that, but put it before that. Although that doesn't really make a difference, does it? But, and pull the arm back. So we grab that, and that. Give it a bit of tilt, bring it back. Oh, in actual fact, sorry, I'm being an idiot, aren't I? Because I need to... What do I need to do? What am I even talking about? No, do you know what? I will put that there. And what I need to do is get rid of this scroll now in this frame, and just have him have his hand outstretched. And then I can worry about the rest in a minute. I can duplicate, you know, frames and bit or the hand bit and move that to another group. So your thumb is on the top. Hands. I hate drawing hands. Everyone hates drawing hands. Hands are just the worst. Terrible. What is that? Why are hands so difficult? Work smart, not hard. Yeah, I'm loving the support for the decision to massively reduce the scope of this animation out of laziness. Laziness on my part, laziness on the character's part. It's perfect. By the way, how is the lag on this thing? So I'd quite like to do more of these kind of streams if this way of doing it is you know, not a pain to watch, because I understand that the iPad is wirelessly beaming itself. No lag, great. Right. Might actually bring his arm back up a bit on that frame, like just a touch, and then that actually almost doesn't, the upper arm almost doesn't need to be visible, does it, in that frame? Okay, cool. Duplicate that, and then on that one, let's move everything back a bit more. He's a bit long in the arm, I would say, in this animation. Like if he was, the proportions are slightly weird in that if he was like put his arm down straight there, it would almost touch his toes. But do you know what? It's in keeping with everything that I'm trying to achieve. I don't know really how many frames to do here. I might do one between there and there. Let's put the old onion skinning on. Okay, so let's move his arm a bit. Like that. So just sort of in between the two. It's not the most natural looking movement in the world, is it? I wonder if the final one needs to be somewhere else. Like if that wants to be a bit more like so, and then maybe this comes in front. That's a bit better. Because then in real life, what you do is you would hold that for a while. Like if anything, it wants to be a bit quicker, doesn't it? More quicker than that even. Because yeah, the main character. Hey Tom, I'm using Procreate on the iPad, which is great and quite idiot-proof, as being demonstrated right now. And I prefer doing stuff with the Apple Pencil than with like mouse and keyboard and stuff. I know people love various computer-based things, and I have used like a drawing tablet in the past, but for me there's something better about the one-to-oneness of like actually drawing on the screen. Anyway, so that's something. What I would say is then before that we want to have, I'm turning these onion skins off, duplicate that and have his arm not there at all. So I'm going to have maybe one where he can like look down a bit, but not all the way, and then the eyebrow isn't raised yet, so he looks down, eyebrow raises, reaches out, grabs the thing, and then we'll see how that looks. Or maybe look down. And hold that for a few frames. Like, it's going to be quite a quick thing, this, because so I needn't worry too much about it. That looks good. I have a similar animation in my game. Your animation looks way better for sure. I don't think it does, Jeremy. Thanks very much though. Yeah, Tom, it's not a thing of me knowing my way around it. It's a thing of Procreate is literally one of the best pieces of software ever made, and it's just unbelievable value because it's like 20 quid or something forever. Like, you know, Adobe, you have to like pay a monthly subscription these days. This just also they've updated Procreate recently with like 3D modeling and stuff, so it's like taking on Blender and things now. yeah, it's amazing. And if you're interested, I just paid £18, which presumably is like $20 odd, for a piece of software called Reflector, which is how I'm now putting the iPad onto the Mac to do this stream, which I think is, if there's no lag, it's brilliant. I'll do a lot of these. The reason I haven't done them in the past is because I haven't really found a decent way to be able to actually show you what's going on the screen without having like this camera stuff going on as the only thing. Anyway, sorry, I'm talking nonsense. Okay, so he's going to look down, and again, the actual timing of this stuff, when I put it into Adventure Creator, I can play around with the timing and things. Yeah, the outrageous price is the biggest downside of Adobe. Yeah, I know. I've had to. I've basically sacked Adobe off. I've got to have XD for work, like for freelance stuff, which is like £9 a month, which is annoying, but is a business expense, so I can maybe get something back on that. But I use Procreate, I use Affinity, and I use like Pixelmator, which I think is sort of more or less discontinued now, but I'll do anything I can to not give Adobe monthly subscriptions. But yeah, Procreate is just unbelievable value, and drawing with the Apple Pencil is like literally one of the best things ever. It's so natural. Anyway, he's looking down. I don't know if everyone else does this when they're animating, but just literally just play it over and over again, stare at it whilst you catch up with your own thoughts. Okay, let's duplicate you, pop you there, and then we'll start moving his hand back into the original position, but with the thing. And again, this is now a much simpler in scope thing than it was going to be. He was going to read it, but God, I can't be bothered. The bigger problem will come when it comes to making him stand up and walk around. Yes, this is an iPad Pro. It's not like the most recent one. If it was the first one after they like redesigned it to have smaller bezels, and yeah, it wasn't cheap. I mean, I had a job at the time, which I now don't, but so I wouldn't be going out buying one now. But I'm a bit of an Apple fanboy. They just make things that are quite pleasant to use, you know. Duplicate you. I'll just have him hold it by his side. Sorry, just have a little drink. Yeah, and also I've waxed lyrical before about my MacBook Air, which is like the M1 MacBook Air, which is just an insane thing. You know, you can do game dev on it, you can do quite hardcore Photoshoppy type stuff on it, and it's just silent, has no fan, never gets hot. It's like from the future. I think there's something wrong with what's going on with his eyes, actually. I feel like I'd be more inclined to have them sort of follow his hand. So I think a minute that looks a bit weird. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Slow it down, see if it looks like a bit slower. fact, why am I don't want it on, I want it on loop. Sorry, just staring at it over and over again. It's an interesting viewing, I know, for something that will be so inconsequential. Also, there's something weird going on there, isn't there? Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, why is that? Did the wrong thing on the wrong one. That's better. And if I speed it up slightly. Speed that up even more actually. Maybe 20 frames a second, maybe. Because the character is just going to go bloop and it will be really speedy. I think what we need is a bit of other movement because he's very static. So I might at that point have this, I would have this arm come back. I made it part of the same. If I can just sort of warp that a bit. Or distort. To that kind of effect. Is this making work for myself? Unnecessarily, maybe. It's funny the things that I decide to get perfection-y about and the things that I don't. Like I've no interest in making his hands look any more natural, but for some reason I can spend time making him jiggle about for one frame. Let's see what this looks like in a minute. Yeah, Tom, it's slow work, isn't it, when you don't know what you're doing and you want people to like your thing. Broken his sandwich in his pocket. I think this was supposed to be a sandwich. It's been so long since I drew this guy in the first place, I can't remember. Right, now what I think I'm going to do is, so I've done that, so I've warped him slightly. I'm going to copy that warped body and put it into the next frame as well. Get rid of the other one, so at least he's got more than one frame. And then I think I might move his head about a bit. Maybe the hat can stay. Such tiny movements for no real point. And then in this one we can bring his eyes back up, can't we? Wherever they were in in the first place. Art feeds on patience. Yeah, it also feeds on my sanity, to be honest. There we go. There's a bit more like movement in him. Although I have just realised that I've got another issue. Created another issue here, which is that now he's like this, holding the thing. His talking animation, which is like this, he's not holding the thing. Says I do need to animate him getting rid of it, otherwise it's going to be problematic. How do I do that? Sorry, I'm just sort of staring at it in silence. I wonder if I have him hold it there for a second, right? And then we can maybe bring the arm back slightly. Bear with me on this. If we bring it back slightly. Hold that, duplicate that. And then like pop it into, like noticeably pop it into a pocket. So it's out of frame. Yeah. Do you know what? I can just tick it off for that one. How does that look? Yeah, that works. And then I can have him. Yeah, and then I'll have him bring his arm back out. His hand back out. To show. Oh no, not that. Hang on. Where's the one with his actual? There we go. Take you, duplicate you. Bring you to the front. This is quick decision making. Just make him put it in his pocket, then talk animation will be the same. Yeah, Jeremy, I was thinking I could do another talk animation, but my laziness has won out yet again, which means that what I'm going to do instead is have him put it in his pocket, and then he can go away. What does if you take? Actually, you probably want that to be more like that, and then like that, and then away completely. Maybe I don't even need this bit at the end, actually. I don't know what I'm gaining from that. Yeah, that's okay, isn't it? Although his eyes go all over the shop because I've taken earlier things, so... So I need his eyes to go back to where they were. On both these two frames. So this hasn't been too bad because I've made some decisions for the sake of ease. What I need to do is, like I said, the bigger issue is going to be he needs to stand up, like sort of push himself away from the elevator that he's on, which is this. He's like leaning against the elevator. Well, that's okay. This is done now, I think. Would you agree? That's looking alright. Yeah, happy with that. For the British people watching, I'm not drinking like neat Robinsons, it is diluted. Okay. That I think is okay. I'm happy with that for now. Let's not worry about it anymore. So, transition. I need a different version of him where his front arm is. There we go. There we go. I need... Oh no, why have I... Don't tell me I've... Stupid me, not thinking forwards enough. I don't think I've got a version... Yeah. So I've got his hand and his arm and that as a... They're not separate layers, they're baked in. What happens when the lift doors open? Yeah, so I've got an animation working for that, where you walk up and use the lift as a hotspot, and then it just plays an animation that opens to like a background, and then the scene changes. Like the player sort of starts to walk and the scene changes. So that's sorted, and I can duplicate that for every scene, because literally every scene has the same elevator almost. However, right, stupid past me. Didn't find a version. Save a version where this was a separate layer, so I might have to do a bit of silliness now to make this work. Let me grab the body, go back into Pro Transition. No, he's going to take this piece of paper, say fine, I'll leave or whatever, and then he's going to stand upright, which is what I'm going to animate now, and then he will walk off. And so I need to eventually animate him walking, which in the game as a whole I've tried to like massively minimize by design any NPC that need to walk, because I don't want to be making loads of walk cycles. Like the way I did the last one that does need to walk, I literally just kind of copied frame by frame my protagonist's one, but you know, walk cycles take ages, so it's not something I want to be getting into as a habit. Anyway, right. So there's his body. I'm going to have to just delete everything that isn't that. So many times in the process of making this game, past me has just really stitched me up by being an idiot. It just happens all the time. There's always something that I've kind of neglected to think about, and because everything is done so like hand to mouth with no experience, it is quite hard to predict where these things are going to come up. So what I'm going to do is raise this body, and then just separate this hand back into 3 layers, and then I will make him, I guess, kind of just push himself off the lift with his back and stand up straight. What I'm a bit concerned about is how that's going to affect his like pivot point in Adventure Creator, like what the sort of middle of his sprite is considered. But again, let's cross that bridge when we get to it, shall we? Make every NPC a ghost. Or segues, yeah. I wonder if that's how, that's why the Wadget Eye Blackwell games were all about ghosts. Because you can have loads of NPCs that just float about. Or maybe robots would be a good one. Robots on wheels. Right, let's turn the size of this eraser up a bit now. Sorry, bear with me. Undoing mistakes from days gone by. Thank you for watching though. I think it does really help having people watch, because it means I actually do stuff rather than just rest on my laurels. Right, let's duplicate you, and what I'm going to do is erase like that. And then do almost the opposite. Here, I wonder if I can just leave his hand as it is, you know. I don't think I necessarily need to separate the hand, do I? Okay, so we got to the position that I wanted to be at the start, where I can make him stand up. So I guess, as per, I'm going to get rid of this lunchbox, I don't need it. Right, as per the other one, I'm going to go immediately from leaning to standing. Sorry, I'm losing my mind. And then draw the in-betweens and figure out how exactly he does that. So I wonder if I can just distort that whole body. That might not actually look too bad. That would be ultimate laziness if that works. Might work, you know. Might look a bit weird, but he sort of needs to be a bit taller. What a win this will be if I can do it in lazy fashion. What are you? What? You're a weird artifact from something, aren't you? Wherever you come from. Right, let's bring these arms across. He does look a bit strange. Almost as if I've just artificially warped him. I'm not giving up just yet. I refuse to give up on the lazy way. The lazy way is the only way. And also, as with anything in game dev, you have to think, will anyone care? Will anyone sit there thinking, hang on a minute, he just warped that rather than drawn it? I think not. There's something going on there. Oh God. You see, oh, look at that, hang on. Look at all of this nonsense I left on the thing. Watch the angle of the shoes. Yeah, I know. I know. Still so much stuff. Come on, get rid of all the weird little artifacts. What's that? Bit there. Bit there. A little bit there. Alright, that'll do. The arm is too high. Weirdly, I think the shoes look more natural in the warped one than they do in the original one now. That's a bit concerning. However, I just need to make sure he sort of stays relatively the same height. Which currently he is not. So I'm just gonna move his head up slightly. Just bring him up a bit everywhere. I dread to think what like proper artists are making of this. Okay. You could argue that he sort of loses some weight in that transition. But do I care? I don't know. Because it's going to be very quick again. He's going to do this and then wander off. Yeah, the chest pockets do look a bit funky, don't they? You're right, because that one's further away, so it should be smaller. You know, when you're You've heard of the phrase sunk cost fallacy, which is where someone spends too much time and effort going down a road that they shouldn't have because they feel like they've spent too much time on it. I feel like that's what I'm doing right now, rather than actually, you know, do it the proper way. Let's give them a bit more fat, shall we? I think that's okay. I think that's okay. I'll tell you what though, it is 1,000,000 degrees in my shed. Let me turn the heater off. It's always too hot or too cold in here. Right, how long have I been on, by the way? An hour. Okay. You know what we're going to do? Go somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle is the key to animation. That's what I think. What I think I want to happen is for maybe him to use his elbow to push himself forwards. Like if he's sort of leant back and he can just do that a bit. Maybe. So, in actual fact, we want these guys to be a bit like this. Probably duplicate that, but keep the arms back a bit for this one. Maybe a bit more. Let's see where we were. Keep them where they were, maybe. I can always redo the outlines and stuff in a bit. That's way too fast. But oh yeah, no, his arm goes all over the shot though. That's a bit weird, isn't it? So I think his body needs to be further forwards there. Slightly, as does his head. Isn't right. a bit better. It's getting there. May need to lift the arm first. Yeah, it depends. Yeah, you might be right. He kind of does. Let's see what this looks like. Again, it's going to happen so quickly. And I dare say it doesn't even... I wonder if I can... If I need to maybe make his hand appear slightly. That looks like not hand, if you know what I mean. Just for a frame. It's getting there. That's not terrible, is it? Should one of his legs be slightly bent? Yeah, maybe. And I think the thing about the hat is probably correct as well. Might actually make his whole head tilt down a bit just before he goes. There's so many like little nuances, right, that you can do. Why does that hold for so long? I don't actually want that one to hold for that long. In actual fact. And I don't even need that hand there, do I? It doesn't add anything. Let me try the leg bent thing that's been discussed. See what difference that makes. Sorry, I'm not saying anything, I'm just deep in trying to undo my own stupidness. It's all very slapdash. That's a bit better. The thing is about all this, again, it is going to be half a second of animation. I don't think it needs to be amazing, to be honest. Well, I can, and again, I know there's so much in the... I might make his hat stay at the angle it was at. Like it's an independent thing from his body a bit. That's just a little bit of extra movement. Didn't know Procreate has animation functionality. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say it's not ideal because you, for a start, you run out of frames quite quick. Like if you have loads of layers like this, eventually it will say you've got too many layers, which is why, for instance, my idle animation for this guy is in 2 separate animations. So I've got his kind of he's swiping on his phone, and then every now and again he does this just to readjust his hat. Yeah, right. Where was I? I wonder if what it needs is at that point. I think I want him to like lean forwards, like a little bit, so I can maybe warp him. Like that. Is that going to look stupid? Yes, is the answer. Let's completely not do that. Or maybe that was just too much. Whoop, 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 whoop. Maybe one of these legs on this one bend slightly. Again, at this point you get into the real nitty-gritty of like how much extra bits and bobs, you know, do lend themselves to the thing and how much is pointless. That said, I might give him a little blink. I feel like blinks add a bit of lifelikeness to things. And you do tend to blink when you... Yeah, really. Yeah, I'm sure. Now I know people keep saying about loads of different software that is really good for animation, and Procreate probably isn't ideal, but it's what I use and what I know my way around, and I'm sort of an old habits die hard kind of guy, so I reckon there needs to be one more frame somewhere around here. Or more like this one, which unfortunately is the one I've just done a blink on, which is bad news for me. I feel like maybe we want the arms to just be where they were on the one before. She'll have to undo his blink, obviously. If we're doing this, which is silly of me. Yeah. That arm is way out of whack now, isn't it? And then I'm just gonna maybe give this one a little bit of like arm swing. That's getting there. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. What I just need to do is like just redo the outline and stuff on bits and pieces like this, just to make it all look a bit more natural. And then I think that's kind of another one done, which might be me done for the day. I think I you know, the next big thing is to making walk, which to be honest will have to be a thing for another day. Because that's going to take a long time and it's the end of the day. Nearly, anyway. But that's some good progress for me today, I think, getting these two sort of done. Happy with that. Again, you fascinating insight into my weirdness with I just don't care about some things, and then some things I arguably care a bit too much about. But I'm not setting out to win awards, so I'm setting out to make a game. And I think, you know, I did that video about how much you should care about stuff. You know, how much should you sweat these kind of bits and bobs. And a lot of people are just like, yeah, don't worry about it. You know, if you're drawing a man opening a cupboard, doesn't need to actually open the cupboard. And there's almost an element you could argue that some kind of there's a charm in it being not perfect. I mean, maybe that's just a massive excuse or a crutch to lean on, but nothing needs to be perfect, does it? Come on, I'm not making, I don't know, Red Dead Redemption or anything. And I am but one man, so what can I do? Right. Oh, I love your style. Oh, thanks very much. Right. There we go. I think that's good, and I quite like his little wobble at the end. It adds a bit of like inertia to it. I don't know if that's really coming through on the stream because of the lag. But his arm shakes just at the end. Yeah, I think that sort of brings it to life in a way. Cool. All right. Well, do you know what? That's a couple of animations done then that needed to be done. So he's going to do that, have a little chat, stand up, and then I will let's cross the him walking away bridge another time. But yes, that is plenty good enough for me. So I'm going to knock it on the head for today. And think about going and watch Succession or something. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully that's been interesting. I'm definitely going to do more of these now that I've got a reliable way to put the iPad on the screen. And also it's fun because if people are watching again, I'll do more quicker probably than I would do if I was just by myself because I'll get distracted. But yeah, thanks guys. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next stream or in the Discord server. Have a good evening or day. Bye. Hang on, he says I can't get it to say goodbye.